Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
What's this music?
What is this?
Just generic? Okay. Yeah, not bad. Today, all of our guests, including JPAT, are brought to you by the Alberni Power and Marine RPM Group. Located in Port Alberni, Alberni Power and Marine is one of Vancouver Island's most trusted boat dealerships, the largest Mercury Marine dealership in Canada. Their service team just won, for the fourth consecutive year, a CSI score above the national average. Rick, that's Customer Satisfaction Index.
Oh, I know.
Lord knows what our score is. Make your appointment today for the 2022 boating season at albernipowermarine.com. Trevor and Ladner. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Rick must drive like Miss Daisy for that coffee to stay on top of the car. Do you drive slowly?
No,
which is okay.
It's a couple of rights and a left. I did drive slow until I get on the main road because, kids where there's a lot of houses, I drive slow.
Kids, watch out for that coffee. Okay. Jeff Paterson joining us now, Canucks and Blues tonight at Rogers Arena. Jeff, how are you, sir?
I'm excellent, Donnie. And Dolly, I'm coming to you from the concourse here at Rogers Arena. The Canucks are on the ice. It's the morning skate. I don't want to lose my spot in line for a hot dog tonight, so that's why I'm here in the concourse.
Very good. Hey, Conor Garland, 0 goals in 15 games. What are you noticing?
Not many goals,
yes.
That's for sure. Donnie, it is 0 in 15, but more than that, it's 1 in 17. And if you go back to the last goal that he scored, it was the 6-0 goal in that 7-1 romp over the Calgary Flames. So not exactly big-time, prime-time goal in that regard. And even the goal before that was a home game against Anaheim, and it was the third Canuck goal in a 7-4 loss, and it came in the third period. So you got to back it way up to a road game in San Jose to find the last time that he scored a significant goal. It was a 3-3 tie. He put the Canucks in front 4-3 in a game they ended up winning 5-4 in overtime. So, lots of shots, but not a lot of scoring chances. He did have 8 shots against Detroit in the night that they got shut out 1-0 here in this building. But I look at the game the other night in St. Louis, and yeah, there were the mistakes, and yes, he got benched for the rest of the first period, but he had 5 shots on goal. Do you remember any of them? I'm starting to wonder a little bit, and people will say, well, hey, at least he's getting shots and producing some scoring chances. 39 shots without a goal, though. I'd like to see him get a little closer to the net, quite frankly. And I know he's not the biggest guy, but early in the season, he was involved. He was involved physically. Remember, he had the Detroit Red Wings chasing him all around Little Caesars Arena that night. I think that was the night that Canuck fans really took a shine to this guy. But this is the NHL, and he's getting paid $5 million a season now. So there has to be expectations. And stuck on 14 goals for the season, 15 without, that's highly disappointing. So you hope that he can get a little bit of a run here. It's crunch time. They need every goal. They need every point they can get. And so for him right now to have gone missing offensively, it's got to be disappointing for him. And you heard the frustration of the coach the other night.
Yeah, and he scored that game in Detroit as well. What has Will Lockwood shown you, Jeff, in the 2 games he's played?
Yeah, he hasn't looked out of place at all, and I think the speed is noticeable. I love the way he burst right through the middle of the St. Louis defense the other night in that first period, took the pass from Nick Patan and hit the outside of the post. He's not afraid to mix it up. I do think, and we've seen it in both the games that he's played at one time, and it was Justin Falk the other night, but he runs into traffic a little bit. Sometimes I think he kind of loses his spot out on the ice and maybe his vision and his awareness. When you make the jump to the National Hockey League, we always talk about time and space, and this is the fastest league in the world. Maybe you can get away with some things at the American Hockey League level, and I just don't want to see him get absolutely lit up. I mean, Justin Falk had a chance to do it the other night, finished his check on him, but Lockwood popped back up. But I like the fact that this guy brings speed. It's an element that the Canucks don't have enough of. You've heard Travis Green say it when he was still here. Bruce Boudreau's referred to it. Patrick Alvin has mentioned it. They want to be a faster team, and I think Will Lockwood certainly can play into that. Looks like he's going to maintain his spot in the lineup here. Jason Dickinson back on the ice of the morning skate, but I don't think Dickinson's going to play. So, I think this will be a third straight game for Will Lockwood, and what an opportunity. He broke into the NHL late last year, cover of COVID, those late season afternoon games against Calgary. This will be his first chance to play here in this building, with people in the stands. Stakes are high right now, so it's night and day compared to when he really made his NHL debut a year ago, when there was games of no consequence. These ones matter, so what an opportunity for Will Lockwood to continue to put his best foot forward.
Jeff, a question here in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. What's going on with Sutter? Wasn't he skating a few weeks ago? Any chance that he comes back at all?
I don't think so, Rick. The word is that he has been skating. Obviously, our access these days with the protocols that are in place, don't see the players nearly as much, not around the room and not allowed into the room. So, the word was that he was back skating, and that's great just for his mental health to be back around the team and doing what he loves to do. But in terms of playing, they've got 14 games to go. He's not on the ice where Tucker Poolman is and Kyle Burrows is and Dickinson is. No Nils Höglander, by the way, at the morning skate this morning, so he remains on the shelf. But I was pulling for Brandon Sutter. He's one of the really good guys. Have always enjoyed my dealings with him, and what a tough break. Obviously, so many guys have contracted COVID, and he just hasn't been able to shake off the long-term effects, and now he's going to be out of a contract at the end of the season here. Yep. So the fact that he hasn't been back with the group at any point on the ice and only 14 games to go, certainly – while they are still mathematically alive, there's no way that he would get plugged in if they were eliminated and they had a couple of games. If he had been back and skating, I think maybe it was a possibility. But right now, with 14 to go, I just don't see Brandon Sutter playing another game for the Vancouver Canucks.
Jeff, can you envision the Canucks moving on from Bruce Boudreau in the offseason?
I can't, and yet I've heard all this chatter here in the last 48 hours or so, and I get that there was a club option, but you think of the turnaround and what he has done and just breathing life back into this group, and for them to get to the final game of March and still be in it, and they're going to play significant games in April now. This 3-game set against Vegas is going to mean something. Ultimately, they may come up short, but when I just think of what he's done to just kind of ease the burden that clearly so many of these guys were playing under in those first 25 games, he's done a terrific job. He's brought the penalty kill along. He's brought Elias Paterson back to life. He's brought the best out in JT Miller, although JT Miller played well under Travis Green too. But Horvat seems like he's found another gear in his offensive, the side of his game, at least the goal scoring. So, no. I mean, unless Bruce Boudreau decided that he didn't want to be part of this, but this guy's a hockey lifer. I think he would coach as long as he was still breathing. So I think he wants to be here. And I think he's earned the opportunity. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised, Donnie, just to hear people suggesting that maybe just because it's a new management group and so often a new GM would want his own person. But Jim Rutherford and Bruce Boudreau were in lockstep, even if they were sort of hired in reverse order. They're a team here. And I think Bruce Boudreau will be back next year.
Mm-hmm. Finally, Jeff, I know he didn't get any points the other day, but he wasn't part of their Stanley Cup run. But Jordan Kyrou just looked so good the other day, leads the Blues in scoring. What do you like about the St. Louis Blues?
Yeah, and Bruce Boudreau talked about it. It's their depth. It's the fact that they really don't have a superstar. Vladimir Tarasenko has scored a bunch of goals, obviously 500 points the other night with the empty netter. And at times has been a lethal sniper, but I just think it's the depth across the board. It's Tarasenko. Ryan O'Reilly can still get the job done. Robert Thomas coming into his own. Kyrou, as you mentioned. I thought Kyrou was terrific here in the game in Vancouver when these teams met back in January. Didn't notice him as much the other night. And how about David Perron, guys? Does anybody else think about where is Patrick White these days? Anytime that David Perron scores a goal, still going strong among the NHL goal-scoring leaders in the month of March, and the way that he whistled that one up under the crossbar on Jaro Halak the other night. He's not slowing down, and I've always admired David Perron. Plays hard, gets under the skin of opponents, and there's a ton of finish there. So maybe a guy like Conor Garland can look across the ice and draw some inspiration from a player that certainly isn't the biggest guy in the world. But, I just like the depth of the Blues. And then Ville Husso, who had a little bit of, had taken a step back for – it's a long season. You're not going to stop every puck that comes your way in the NHL, but the Canucks have scored exactly 2 goals on him in the 2 games that they've faced him. So they're going to have to do a better job of trying to find a way to score on Ville Husso because every game matters. 14 to go, 9 of them here at Rogers Arena, and we know that this team hasn't been good enough on home ice for much of this season, so let's see what they look like against the Blues here tonight.
Concession right behind you, Jeff, just in case you didn't notice. Thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week.
It's hot dog time.
Thanks, Jeff.